Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. I am so happy to be here with you this morning. I want to say it is Saturn's Day, our Shabbat, 10/6/2018 at 9:20 a.m. California time. I'm happy to be here with you. How you doing? Good to see you. Obara Bani, it's good to be here with you. So, hey, listen, got some things I want to go over this morning with you. Just kind of hang out because, you know, it's one of those days. Hey, listen, I've been threatening for the longest time because, you know, you guys catch me on camera and I'm always tired with something, right? So I got my 5-hour out. So just in case, you know, I catch that vibe and I feel like I want to yawn, like now. Even though it's early in the morning, for some reason, every time I get on camera, it's like I get the yawns or something. You know, hey, look, the dogs are hanging out with me, and they're over in the corner hanging out. It's all good. I'm gonna open this thing up and get it ready, just in case. You're listening to one of my tracks in the background. It's called "I Don't Know If You're Ready," because I don't know if you're ready. Sometimes I don't know if I'm ready when I'm trying to get ready. And in the immortal words of DJ Quick, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I'm trying to stay ready, y'all, and we're going to talk about some things. And as we've been going through this, you know, we continually, hey, listen, you see me, you know, I'm trying to pay attention to you, but then I also have this monstrosity, this screen and this software in front of me. And I don't have an engineer in here. I'm flying solo by myself. So when you see me looking away, looking at other things, it's because I have to look away to change screens and change views and turn music down and things like that. I don't have an engineer. I'm flying solo. And that's part of what I wanted to talk to you about. I could certainly use another moderator. I could certainly use someone else to assist. There are softwares and things like that. If I'm here in California, let's just say you're in Oklahoma, you might be able to help with some of the production on this side. If you want to, you don't have to. But this is one of those things that we're trying to grow it. And we're not trying to grow it for a monetary gain. We're not trying to grow it for fame. It's all about trying to bring our people closer together and be more of a community. That seems to be a problem here in the Americas. They don't want us to be a community. They don't want us to band together, because when we do, then things start to happen. We start to figure things out, and as things start to get figured out, other things start to happen, and we start to bring things more into focus. And that seems to be a problem for some people. I was doing some research and some study this morning, and there is a I think it was 87 or 1997. I'm not actually sure. BET did a special on the Hebrews that left Chicago and went and started the little settlement in Dimona, Israel. Okay, now Joshua Amariel, who you always hear me talk about over here, because he's the one who discovered Zion. Joshua Amariel is the one who discovered this, okay? Joshua Amariel is the one who was the boots on the ground to discover this. This is the real Mount Zion in Tel Arad, okay? Now, he was a kid when they started Dimona, and his family was one of the ones that went over to settle in Tel Arad. Well, actually in Arad, not Tel Arad. They settled in Arad, the city of Arad. And later they moved to Dimona. But he was over there then. His family, they've been in this struggle and in this game since the 60s, okay? And his uncle is an actual Levitical priest. That family, that Amariel family, have never, ever been slaves. They're not descendants of slaves. They were free over here. I don't know how the Most High worked that out, but, you know, they still have the family scrolls. They have the scrolls. 12 tribes. Each tribe had a scroll. The priests and everything's had a scroll, right? He has his scrolls. He still has his family scrolls. Okay, so this is how he's been able to prove who he is. And Israel does not like the fact that he is the real deal, right? Because, see, they don't have original scrolls. He's got his family's original scroll. And they don't have, Israel does not have a scroll. Those people who are over there today do not have scrolls. At least they don't have the scrolls that we have. He's got the original Paleo Hebrew. See, that Hebrew that's not even used anymore, the real stuff. The modern Hebrew they use today that's a mockery. That's them. Okay, see, so the Europeans, the Khazars, got together and they started reading our scriptures and they started compiling writings in the whole nine, and they put it all back together because we were dispersed. And so when you disperse a people, you lose your culture, you lose your language, you lose your land. We lost everything, right? So he still has the family's scrolls. And this is what Europeans hate. They don't want us to be able to have proof that we are the people of the book. Okay, and when you look at Joshua, right, he looks like Samson. The scripture says Samson's hair had 7 locks. Only our hair can lock. In other words, since the hair is curly, it wraps around each other. You know, that's where you get a dreadlock from, right? Their hair doesn't naturally lock. They have to rat it and do all kinds of things to it to make it turn into dreadlocks. We don't have to do that. Okay. Our hair naturally locks. And so they show you these movies and these pictures of Samson with these stringy haired guys. And no, because Delilah took Samson down by cutting off his locks. He told her how many locks he had and where his power was, and they chopped off his locks in his sleep. Stringy haired men don't have locks. They've got stringy hair. I didn't come here to get into that. We're doing something else. But I said that to say that when you look at Joshua, you can see in him exactly what the scriptures describe. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. So anyway, I came over here because it's Shabbat, and I've been studying Shabbat, and there's some of you who, like me, who are chasing Shabbat. We want to know for sure. See, on one side, different camps say, well, it's the moons. You got to follow the moons and the cycle of the moons. On another side, someone else says it's the days. You know, we got to follow the days. So I've been doing some study with different mores and rabbis and even on my own. And I'm in the middle right now. See, here I go. You change your screen. So here I go. I'm in the middle right now of chasing the moons. Okay. And as you can see right here, I'm in 1 Samuel 20:5, where David is having a conversation with Jonathan. And he's saying, David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow or on the morrow or the next day is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, or that's the king's the king's feast, or his meal, right? That meat is his meal. He says, but let me go that I may hide myself in the field, and on the third and in the field until the third day at even. So I was looking at this, and I've been chasing this down. Another brother used the scripture, and he was talking about the particular days. So I am actually, chasing down this Shabbat thing, okay, because I'm used to doing everything on what the Roman Greco calendar says is Saturday. I'm used to doing it there, okay? But however, we have other people who are saying, well, don't get stuck on Saturday because it may not be Saturday. Okay, it could be a Wednesday, according to the moons. Okay, so yesterday when I was riding out, what was it, 4 o'clock in the morning, quarter to 5, something like that. I looked over my left shoulder and I saw the crescent moon up in the sky, and it was black. Sky was black, the moon was white. It was beautiful. I should have took that picture, but I saw it and I was like, and I stopped and I just gazed at it for a minute, right? And then I was doing some research today and found that this is supposed to be the beginning of the month, but it's like the new year for us or something. Okay, so see, I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to know everything, but I'm looking and I'm paying attention, and I'm not listening to any and everybody. There's a lot of teachers that I study with and study under. I listen to what they have to say, and then I do what I just heard one of the Morays say like this. He says, the problem with us is that we don't do what Timothy was told to do. And it's the problem with us is that we don't study to show ourselves approved, the workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the truth. We don't study. We would rather that someone just tell us what's going on, and then we just take it for granted, but we don't get into the books. So I'm getting into the books and I'm studying it out, and as I study it out, when I find what I'm looking for, then I bring it to you. And the only time that you see me, putting stuff out here is once I've found something, and then once I found it, and then I've understood it, and then I bring it to you. So my subjects are varied. It's not all the time just scripture, 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 scripture. Some other pages and some other videographers who are out here making videos like this, that's all they do. I'm going to bring you everything, because we're people. There are things that make us happy, and we want to feel happy. There are things that make us sad, and we don't all want to feel sad, okay? But because there's something that makes us sad, I want to share that with you so that we can have empathy as a community for whoever that person is, to help uplift them, and our prayers can go forward and maybe alleviate some of their sadness. There are things that make us absolutely giddy, and we laugh. So I'll bring you funny stuff, right? Because we're people, we want to laugh sometimes. Everything is not serious. We want to understand how we're being programmed by the government that has us subjugated at this point. We're not free. We're still in our captivity. Okay. I'll talk about things when people out there make us feel like we're less than what we are, and none of us wants to feel like we're less than what we are, but there are those times when people put it in your face in a way that they want you to know that you're the N word, okay? They put it in your face that way, and then the culture itself has become so pervasive to use that word in such a way as to where it's just so culturally present that you would think that they don't really mean anything by it, because it's so culturally present that you see. I just watched my nephew posted some Hispanics in Illinois. Okay, so it's on Facebook, and what it was there was a guy sitting on a porch, and he was being confronted by a girl who had like a BB gun pistol in her pocket, and he had run around, had been telling everybody who she had been sleeping with. And so he was sitting there making fun of it and laughing about it in the whole nine, but they was throwing the N-word back and forth. Stop telling people about my stuff, nig. She said nig, and just N-I-G, she left it at that, right? But as everything started to escalate, the rest of the words started coming forth. Now, this is between the two of them. A Hispanic dude, and they're kids, like 15, 16, he's sitting on his porch of his grandma's house or whatever, and she's confronting him. So it started off as nig, but as the conversation got more escalated and she reached out and pistol whipped him, and then the fight broke out between the two of them. He started slapping her in the head with his grandma's flower pots, and she's hitting him with the pistol. It's crazy. The N-word is flying back and forth. Now, see, these are Hispanics, okay? Too little. I don't want to say Mexican, because they're not Mexican. I consider a Mexican someone from Mexico. Now, their nationality may have been from Mexico 4 or 5 generations ago, maybe 6 generations ago, but they're born here, grew up as Hispanics and Latinos in this country. Okay, so they're not Mexicans, what we would call Paisa, which is from the border. Okay, that's what they would call Paisa, who's, from themselves, this is the word they use, Paisa. If you're here and you're like picking grapes or picking cotton or whatever you're doing, they consider them the Paisas, because they were born in Mexico and working over here, right? But when they were born here and they've been here for a few generations, they call themselves Latinos and Hispanics. Okay, now this is what the United States does to us. They start giving us names and bywords like we were Negroes, Then we were colored. Okay. Then all of a sudden the word came, that we were soul brothers. Okay, in the 60s. Somewhere in the 70s we became African Americans. No. Somewhere in the 70s we became black. And then somewhere after the 70s and the 80s we became African Americans. Okay. So I was saying earlier to someone that white and black is a construct here of the United States. I'm just going to show this to you real quick. So yesterday I was talking to this young girl, and I told her everything is backwards in the United States. This is black. Okay. This is black. The difference between this and my hand is a great difference. This is black. I'm not. If I were black, then I would be blending with this mouse and you would not be able to see my hand. I'm not black. I'm a copper colored individual. Copper, like a penny, copper. Okay? This is black. She's Caucasian and they tell her that she's white. This is white. So when I held this up to her, her name badge is on here, and she was wearing it, and I held it against her skin, and I said, see, that's the construct. White and black is used to divide us. I'm not black and you're not white. Okay? In reality, you're the colored person, because if you get hit, or if I hit you, then you're going to show color in the face. You're going to see red, in your face. You're going to turn purple and green and blue and all of that stuff because of the paleness of your skin. You're going to have all those vibrant colors, which is a bruise showing up, because blood vessels have been broken, and now all of these colors are showing up in your face. But you're not white. That's a construct that this government uses to keep us divided as a people. You see, so as I said, where it's an economical, it's a socio-economic situation that's going on right now. So socially and economically, if you're above or below a particular line, that's what dictates where you fall in this economy. So there's no more really in middle class. It's the haves and the have-nots. So either you have $1 billion and you roll with them on that level, or you have not, and then you roll down here with us. So they use things like white and black to keep us down here separated, because up there, they're not being separated by that. It's either you have $1 billion or you don't. Because if you have the money to roll with them, they don't care what color you are. You have the money to roll with them. But if not, then down here, the serfs, the people down here at the bottom, these are the ones that keep fighting against one another so that they'll be able to have a certain amount of control, political control. Okay, so I wanted to say that and get that out of the way. Okay, so that's one of those things that we have to deal with when we look at now. The fact that we are figuring out who we are, the haves, don't want to let us go to be who we are. So what they do is they generate down the line to the rest of the people who they call white or Caucasian, to have them behave in a particular way, because, see, they're socially programmed to behave in a particular way that will keep us separated from who we are, when they should be celebrating the fact that we finally found out who we are, and it's that it should be us and them teaming up together against the haves, because we're the have-nots. I mean, to understand really what's going on, it's they have us separated in such a way as to where just because I'm a brown man who finds out that I am not the person that they taught you that I am, okay? Because in school they teach you and they teach us slavery. They start with Black history. So answer me this: why is it that Black history always starts with slavery? Okay. Did we just all of a sudden, we were just created like we never existed ever before, and then all of a sudden, poof, we popped up on the scene and we were slaves? That was it. That's what our beginning, right? They never talked to you about who we were before we became slaves. They never talked to you about the high civilization that we had, or the people that we were before we became slaves. Listen, your European scholars, your doctors, your PhDs, and your master's degree individuals are the ones who came and they write in their books and they teach on their college levels that had it not been for the melanated person, because the first university that was ever out there was in Timbuktu. Okay, they write this in their books that they were coming from Greece and from Rome to learn from us, because they had no written culture. They had nothing. They were coming to learn. They came to learn our ways. They came to learn our speech. They came to learn our writings. They came to learn our teachings. They came to learn at our universities. They came to learn about our God. Once they learned about all of that, they took it back to their countries and they started using that. That's what they did. They would not have, and it's in history. It's in books. You can read it for yourself, where they said, had it not been for the culture of what we found in Africa, there would be no writing. There would be no math. Now they give credit and credence to other people for things that they learned from us. Okay, so you have a person who is credited with being the father of medicine, but he's not the father of medicine because he learned it in Egypt. He came down to Timbuktu to learn everything that they give him credit for. And today, he gets credit for it. But your scholars say we wouldn't even have it had we not gone down to Timbuktu. That's what your scholars say. We didn't say this. We don't write books and put this stuff out there like that. You guys do. But when we discover it and we tell it, then you get mad. And then you want to call us names and, oh, we think we're this, we think we're... No, we don't. You wrote this. We didn't. We just read it out of your books. And once we... See, that's the reason why they never wanted us to read when we came here as slaves, because once we figured out who we were, they were afraid that we would take over again. It's the reason why they don't want to see... You want to see 4 or 5 guys walking down the street, copper-colored guys walking down the street, 10, 11 guys walking down the street. They got to break that up. They won't let that happen. They will not let that happen, because that means that they're trying to get together, and boy, if they get together, we've had it. Okay, I have proof. Okay, so those are the things that we're going after today, and I think that I may have some of this loaded up already, and if I don't, we're going to be loading it up as we go. So yeah. Okay, so I don't have any of that loaded up. Okay, but that's okay. That's all right, because you know me, I like doing things on the fly. Right? Like I said, I don't have an engineer in here. I'm in here by myself, pushing the buttons and swinging the levers and the knobs. And I like doing things on the fly. So the first thing that I want to show you, something I stumbled across this morning that really kind of broke my heart when I saw it. And let me see if I can find it again. Oh, where is it? I just had it. Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can put my hands on this. Where is... Oh, here we go. All right, I just had to find this folder. So I have the folder here, and I got to show you this, because when I saw this morning, kind of broke my heart, because I know that this is something that's currently happening. I know it's happening because, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? But let me get this up, and then we'll talk about it. I'm gonna play this first. I'm gonna load this up, and then I'm gonna play it. Now you guys might see your screen go dark. I'm loading up stuff because as I go, I'm finding things as I go, and so I'm really not even trying to I'm really not trying to be like so focused on being like the professional show. Some people just want to be, we want to be professional. We want it to look like this and look like that. No, I want to show you something that's absolutely real, and we can just go for it as we go for it. Now I want you to check this out.
Identity extremists will be able to label.
Coincidentally, Rakim even posted about the leaked assessment on his Facebook page on October 20th.
Don't be surprised when them Homeland Security vans pull up.
8 weeks later, his home was raided. But now that he's out, Rakim was ready to resume guerrilla mainframe's objectives, including open carry patrols.
So that's the AR-15, pretty notorious weapon.
Yeah, it has a lot of history to it.
So we're in Dallas, Texas right now, which is, of course, open carry. Why is that so important and as a part of your organization and guerrilla mainframe to open carry?
It's just been a tool to use against protests, against police brutality, and getting the attention of the masses to promote this culture of self-defense.
Do you believe that these guns could provide any more autonomy for African Americans to not be brutalized by police?
It's definitely a deterrent. An aggressor looks for victims. They're not looking for a fight. So if you're armed, you have a better chance if you weren't armed. So that's why we want to tell everybody to get armed. You have a right to defend yourself.
Do you believe that actually building relationships with police could benefit the community?
No, working with police, it does very little. Their job is to be reactionaries, not proactionaries. And that's what we do. We believe in being proactive for the community.
I feel like we need to be a self-serving people to patrol our own communities and set up institutions where we can serve our people without the police interference.
So it looks like the cops are pulling up even down the street right now. What is your initial reaction when you see police officers?
It's just an occupying force in our community.
Yeah, I can tell you that by the numbers they came.
So we got 3 cop cars currently.
They come in this direction.
So how many cops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Put down your firearm. Oh yeah, we're good to go. How you guys doing?
Good. We're gonna get away from me for a minute, okay?
All right, good to go.
Well, now we're secured.
Yes, sir.
We just got a call from some neighbors saying that y'all out here with guns, so we're just checking it out. Relax. You guys gonna be out here for a while?
Probably just another 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes? Okay. There's people around the neighborhood that's just totally freaking out.
Well, you guys can post up nearby and, just for their mind. Okay.
Nothing wrong with what you guys are doing. We just have to look into everything,
Oh, yeah,
So I hope you guys understand that,
Yeah, we definitely understand.
Okay. I appreciate y'all's cooperation. Cool. All right. Good to go. We'll leave it right there, and then once we go away, you guys do whatever you want.
All right.
Thanks.
Definitely intimidating, not gonna lie.
I can say that we're lucky that, camera was around, because if the camera was around, it probably would have went a little bit different.
As a result of exercising his First and Second Amendment rights, Rakim has become the unwitting poster child for Black identity extremists. And although the charges were dropped, Rakim's arrest and jail time have thrown his life into upheaval.
I have to take in consideration any and everything that I do that somebody is watching. In one moment, my life was turned upside down. I lost, my job. I lost my apartment. Most important, I lost the innocence of my name. I could be easily Googled and I would be seen as a potential terrorist.
We reached out to the FBI about Rakem's case, and they issued the following statement. The FBI may only initiate an investigation based upon information or allegations that an activity constitutes a federal crime or a threat to national security. The FBI cannot initiate an investigation based solely on an individual's race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, or the exercise of their constitutional rights, and we remain committed to protecting those rights for all Americans. But perhaps the most damaging effect of the FBI's Black identity extremist assessment is what it could mean for any Black activist. Does this essentially justify the violation of First Amendment rights?
If this report is taken seriously, that it comes from the premier law enforcement agency in the land, it not only implicates your rights, it makes your exercise of your rights the indicator that they need to justify taking suppressive action against you. It's not just that we're disrupting him, but we're letting his group of protesters know that they are under the microscope, and that what put them under the microscope was their political activity.
Okay, so I wanted to show you that because, we need to be aware of what's going on. Okay, so that was the former FBI agent talking about the Black Identity Extremist Group, okay, BIE. And that's where they put us who walk in this truth, because we no longer are accepting the fact that we're going to be their ends. Okay, I'm really trying to be, because I might put this video anywhere. I don't want to be their N-word, right? We're no longer your N-word. Okay, now we know who we are, and we're walking in that. Okay, so he's in Dallas, Texas, and he's exercising his First Amendment right because he can. And you see, they made them put their guns down, but they walked up with their guns on them. Okay, so 8, 9 police officers walked up on them with their guns drawn, right? They made them put their guns down. Okay, so if you have a First Amendment right to open carry, then why can't you carry when they walk up? Why can't you be holding yours? You see, the thing of it is because they're afraid of us, first of all. They're afraid of us because they know that when we get together, things happen. Okay? Now, that's just a piece of a video. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I just happened to stumble across it this morning, and we're going to look at a couple more clips from it. But that was because they kicked in his door at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know how they do. They killed Fred Hampton like that, right? They drugged him in the middle of the night, probably used a woman to get next to him and drugged him. That's how they do us. We'll talk about that in a minute. And, we become targeted individuals. Here's the thing. Anytime we get a leader and that leader speaks, that leader dies. Think about this. Obama wasn't our leader. Understand that Obama was not the descendant of a slave. They'll never let the descendant of a slave run this country. You think you had a black president, you had someone with brown skin, but he was never considered black. See, black is a name that's given to a descendant of a slave, right? So you can get mad right now, Mr. Caucasian, if you want to, but I'm going to share some truth with you. I want you to think about this, okay? Obama is not the descendant of a slave. A descendant of a slave will never get to run this country. His mother was a Caucasian. His father was from Kenya. He was here. His father was here in this country as a foreign exchange student. Therefore, he was not the descendant of a slave. His father was not, and neither was Obama. Obama was raised under the Caucasoid mantle. All he's ever known was Caucasoid. He has no street cred. He doesn't have no street credibility, none. He's not the descendant of a slave. The question is, who the hell is Michelle? Okay, now she's a socialite. of some sort, okay? And they got pulled up to a completely different level, okay? Because he works with them. Okay, when he came in as president, I'm like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? He didn't do anything for us. He filled his cabinet with Wall Street bankers, the same ones who brought the problem on in the first place. He's a part of the same agenda, the same camp. The George Bush 1, Bill Clinton, George Bush 2, Barack Obama, and then it was going to be Hillary again. It's the same camp. No. So by the mere virtue of the fact that we got Donald Trump, that gives us a reprieve. We're not under the same gun or those same people. You really wanted them to still be in control? We needed this break. Now, the hoe got away from her pimp. I just want to say it to you like this, because as soon as the pimp gets back a hold of this hoe, he's going to beat the crap out of her, and we're going to feel it, y'all. I'm just telling you the truth. We got a reprieve when Donald Trump became president. We would have been at war already by now under Hillary. She said she was going to drop the bomb. So anyway, I'm going to move up off of that. That's something else. Now, his political affiliations is what put him and his group under the microscope, because they decided that they wanted to be free. They wanted to practice open carry. They wanted to be able to police their own neighborhoods like the Black Panthers. They wanted to do some things, and that made them become political targets, just like COINTELPRO back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, okay? Here's the thing. When you become targeted, the first thing they do is they start they talked about his case where they investigated him for a while, okay? He had found out that he had been under investigation for like 2 years, okay? Now, he's a former Marine, that guy you just saw. He's a former Marine, okay? He went and sacrificed and gave up his time and put his life on the line for the country. So you're fine as long as you do that, N-word. But when you come back and you start saying, hey, wait a minute, things ain't right, no, we got to sit you down, N-word. Kicked in his door, snatched his son, his 14-year-old son, out of bed, had AR-15s in his son's face, 14-year-old kid. Okay? Put him in handcuffs, snatched him out, drug him through the hallways. You can watch the video. Okay? They locked this man up for 6 months and tried to run charges on him, but they had nothing. And so like the man said is that they had nothing, so they had to drum up something. They took 6 different individual cases that had nothing to do with anything to create this group called BIE, Black Identity Extremists, in order to give the government a reason to come after you. So they can't come after you just because of who you are, what you believe in. They have to create a group and then put you in that group and then say, now we have a reason to go after them. The same way they did when they said Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, had WMDs. They didn't even have any proof. They had artist drawings, renditions. They had drawings when they went to Congress and said, see, look, this is what he's got. And they convinced Congress with drawings, with damn cartoons, to go and start a war and tear a country apart. That's how evil and corrupt this thing is. So, I'm going to say this. I know. See, they watch your Facebook. They watch your... So everybody got the presidential alert, right? I had someone say to me yesterday that when my alert came, I didn't have a confirm button on it. I heard a couple people say that they didn't have confirm buttons on theirs. But I have another video I'm actually going to bring out here shortly, where a guy is talking about what happened with that confirm button. I'll tell you, and then later on I'll bring it up again, and then I'll put the video out there, and you guys can watch it. If you had a confirm button when you held your phone up, this is my pack for my headset though, but when you held your phone up and you pressed the confirm button, your phone took your picture. Your front camera, and then your rear-facing camera took a picture of your surroundings. Now, I had both of mine. One was in a case on my hip, and the other one was in my back pocket when they were going off. Okay? I didn't hit the confirm button. Go look at the video. Did you get the alert? Okay. I show you what I did with mine. Okay. I lay them both out right here on this keyboard, and I show you what I did with mine, because I never did anything with them. I saw them, and I watched everybody else seeing theirs, and I watched a lot of people push the confirm button. It said, this is a presidential alert. This is a test. No action is needed. And right underneath it was confirm. And a lot of people pushed the confirm button. Okay, so if you remember a few years back, they tried to come with facial recognition. They wanted to be able to have facial recognition, so when you walk into a department store, the department store would say, "Hey, Carrie, good to see you." And then all of a sudden, personalized shopping ads would pop up on your phone just for you, because this is part of the smart grid with the smart meters and the smart refrigerators and everything. They know what's in your refrigerator. They know how much you're eating, how much is left, how much milk you're drinking, how much meat is in there, how many eggs you're eating. The smart meters on your home know how much power you're using, blah, 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 right? This is the smart grid. This is what they were building. Okay, so that facial recognition was going to be part of the smart grid. But people shot that down. No one voted for it. They voted against it. They killed it. So they still had to find a way to get facial recognition on you, and they snuck it on you just the other day without you knowing it. They snuck it on you without you knowing it, because if you push the confirm button, you just took your picture and your surroundings. Okay, now they've already got your Facebook, right? They were already talking about how they can turn your cameras on and watch you spanking your wife, and they can listen to your So listen, we're being monitored anyway, right? I don't really care because I have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything. But the thing of it is that, most of us feel this way, like we don't really care. But, I want the opportunity to be able to opt in or opt out if I want to. Okay, now, it's not about whether you care or not. It's about control. Now, here's the thing. I think that the presidential alert is a good thing. It is. But I also know that there are some other groups out there that are piggybacking on the technology, right? So if you want to secretly surveil people, like the deputy director of the FBI said in front of Congress, I posted this 3 times on Facebook, and my account got shut down. Okay. So I posted the video of the deputy director saying this is what they did, right? And then all of a sudden I get a, hey, your account, we need your birth certificate, your driver's license, or your social security number. We're going to shut your account down in 14 days. I'm like, hey, well, if you're not who you say you are, what do you need it for? Well, you got 7 days. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. Boop, count gone. Okay. Those of you who know me know what happened. You can't find that account, can you? Okay? So that's the thing, right? So they already have your Facebook, right? They got your face, but that's not good enough, because they need to be able to track you real time. Everybody's not sitting in front of their computers. So, and you don't always have your phone on in your face when you're out and about, That was the other thing about Facebook Live, because people want to be on camera. I'm Facebook Live, right? Okay? So, but most of the time, you don't see me Facebooking live. You see me pointing at other stuff when I'm Facebooking live. I'm in your face right now. This is more like a news program or what have you. This is educational purposes. I really don't care, okay? Because you see, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway, right? And the more people that are involved and that know what I'm doing, the better. So if I disappear off the map, you guys are going to be, I have enough friends that be like, hey, what happened? Where is he? What happened? That will start asking questions, that'll start pressing buttons and start, will realize, something has happened. Maybe he's a political prisoner, and I got enough people who'll start digging. I've got some friends in the military who'll start digging, So it's those kinds of things. So this guy's an ex-Marine, and they locked him up because he realized that he's not who we've been taught we are. We're not your black men. We're not your N-words, your byword. We're not African Americans. We're something completely different. And when most of the time when we start sharing who we are with people, they don't understand it. They don't get it. But I thought, see, that's part of social engineering. You've been lied to as well. That's why you think what you think. But how is it if you're, then who are they? Exactly. because all those people over there know who we are. But here in America, they have us in such a bubble that you don't hear any other news from around the world unless they want you to hear it. So if you really want to know what America does, you have to listen to other news to hear about our atrocities as Americans, why people hate us around the world as Americans. It doesn't matter if my skin is brown. If I'm an American, they can't stand me because of the thing that America does. I could go to a country where it's all brown people. But the fact that I'm an American, they don't like me because they think that I am a part of the problem. Like I have actually condoned the invasion and the occupation of their country. I never said I wanted to do that. I never said I wanted to send anyone over to occupy another country. Yet the fact that I'm an American and if I show up over there will make me liable. Like I colluded, like I'm a part of the problem. Okay? And then the moment that I say, hey, you know what? I agree with what you're talking about. I agree. Then America will say he's become a domestic terrorist. He agrees with them. Get him. You see? So they make the world hate you, and when you understand and show empathy, then they say, uh-oh, something's wrong with him. The programming, he's broke his programming. He's off the reservation. Get him. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So there comes a time where you're going to have to choose. You're going to have to choose, especially when the mark of the beast hits. You're going to have to choose. Okay? So I'll tell you this. They watch your Facebook. They watch your YouTube. I've seen you watching me. And I know that you're watching me. Because I have a Facebook channel that's growing. And it's growing. And because it's growing, they think like I'm a leader. And what they do is like with Marcus Garvey and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and other leaders who pop up, they always sick a woman on them, you know, because they think that we're a sucker for the draws. You know, they think that, you know, that men are dogs, you know, put a good looking woman on him and he's going to want that and he's going to hit that and she can get the information out of him, right? And that's how they do us, for real. You know, it's no secret Martin had women. I even think Martin had a couple of men. I won't tell the truth about it. Okay? But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. If they discover a tendency they think that you might have, they're going to exploit that on you. Okay? So we know Martin had chicks. Okay? We know Kennedy had chicks. Whatever your weakness is, that's what they're going to exploit on you. You know, if they think they can get next to you. Okay? So I've seen you on the street, you know. I've had complete strangers walk up to me and see, and the thing of it is that, see, I know how to read people and I know how to look at people. You're not asking me a question for any particular reason. You're checking me out. You're trying to see what I'm doing. See, and I don't hide anything. You know, if I'm at work and I might have my tablet up, I might be, you know, looking up something for my job or what have you, but sometimes I might have a video rolling with my neck buds on. I'm not watching it, but I'm listening. I see you step up and look at what's on my screen. I see you guys. You're not hidden to me, but I'm not hiding anything because I'm not doing anything. You know, it's not against the law for me to watch a program. And it's not against the law for me to listen to outside ideas. But you don't want me to come off the reservation. You want me to stay programmed into your little bubble in your little world. You just want me to sit in the corner and be a good little N-word. I know. But no, I can't do that any longer. I can't do it any longer. It could cost me a great deal, and if it does, it just does. You know, some of us just don't give a damn anymore right now. You know, because we know what's coming for us, and we know what's coming for you. Right? So we just don't care anymore. You know, I'm at that point. I just don't care. I care about how you treat me to my face. And if you're my friend, you're my friend, no matter what your color is, no matter what your ethnicity is, no matter what your belief system is. If you're my friend, you're my friend. You're going to let me be me in my space, and I'm going to let you be you in your space. And when you're in my space, I'm going to let you be you. And when I'm in your space, you should let me be me. We can agree to disagree. We can still be friends. But because when it all comes down to it, the only thing that matters is the truth. And your truth is your personal truth. I'm not going to be the one to tell you that your truth is not your personal truth. I'm not going to be the one to tell you that. Now, if you ask me, I'll share with you my truth. You don't have to accept it, but you can. And you can tell me your truth. I don't have to accept it, but I can. That's just a part of being human. I know what I know, and I believe what I believe. You know what you know, and you believe what you believe, right? But if you don't have your butt on your shoulders, we can coexist. It's not an issue. It's really not that big of an issue. The only time it's an issue is when you're trying to tell me who I am. When I know that I can tell you who I am because I have the proof of who I am. Okay? So I've seen you on the street. I've seen you in my store. I've seen you walk up to me. I know who you are. And I know that some of you even know that I know who you are. So here's a situation. Okay? You're looking for a leader in our truth movement. And that's what we call it, the truth movement. Okay? We don't call it what you call it. You call it something else. Because you need to give it that name in order for you to be able to be, one of the alphabet boys and go before Congress to get letters to come and harass us or arrest us or put us in jail or lock us away or whatever. That's what you need. You need that, okay, in order for that to happen. But it's just a truth movement. And why is it truth? Because we found out who we are. And we don't have a leader. And you're looking for our leader. We don't have a leader. You see, not an earthly leader. We have Yahweh, we have Yahweh Shai, who will show up shortly and put everything in right standing. And you're afraid of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai showing up. And we know you're afraid because that's why you have that big telescope on the mountain out there staring out into space. That's why you're working with the Pope to call anyone who shows up, an alien, our space brothers. So we understand the agenda. We know what's going on. But the elect won't be fooled. It's the dumb masses who you're going to fool. You're not going to fool the elect. Those of us who are in the truth movement who understand what's really going on, we know what you're doing. We know who your players are. And we're watching your game. But you see, I'm not out here trying to convince anyone of who you are and what you're about. I could care less. I'm watching my back because I don't trust you. I don't trust you because you're untrustworthy. You'll come up on television and you'll want everyone to trust you, but you're untrustworthy. Your tongue is split like this. You got a snake tongue. The term was, the indigenous used to say, white men speak with forked tongue. Okay. Now, I don't want to say white man because that's a construct, right? No one's white. No one's black. This is black. This is white. Okay. So, but that's something that they used to put in the movies as a metaphor to say that you lie. Okay. Now, I'm not saying all of you. Again, let me reiterate this. There is those that have, and then there are those that have not. There is a group of people, a small a small group of people that run everything on this planet. They're the ones that have. And the rest of us are the have-nots. Okay? In a king's dominion, there's only a king, the members of his court, and then everyone else underneath him are his servants. So in this society, there's a small group of people who represent the king. They have their people who run their business for them and overlook over the people. You know, that's his court. And then the people, the rest of us, we're the servants. Okay? That's how the structure of the pyramid works. You look at the back of a dollar, you see that the eye is separated from the top of the pyramid. The eye is the capstone, but it's separated from the rest of the pyramid. There's only a small group of people who they're letting you know with that little eye on top of the pyramid that's separated. There's a small group of people who run everything. They're the illuminated ones. They know what's going on. The rest of the pyramid doesn't. The rest of the pyramid is in darkness. The light is only shining around the eyeball. Those are the ones who are illuminated. They have the knowledge. They know what's going on. That's a small group of people that are handling everything. And then they have their minions, like the alphabet boys that run around out here trying to keep everybody under control. They want everyone to be doing this thing called group think. Okay? Well, a lot of us aren't a part of the group think. So you can be if you want to be, and that's okay, right? So you have absolute right to think whatever you want to think. That's fine. But I have an absolute right to know whatever I want to know. Right? And you don't have to agree with it. You don't. But we can still be friends. I can be friends with the stupidest person in the world. You can be the most, and I got a couple of dumbass friends. Okay? But they're so dumb that I love them. You know, I just look at them and I'm like, wow, man, look, you know, if I have to save your life, you know, if you're too stupid to pull your head out of the water and you're still trying to inhale, I'm going to pull your head out of the water for you so that you don't kill yourself, idiot. Because you got to pull your head out of the water. I got a friend right now. Matter of fact, I got to call him. I got to call him. Poor guy. You know, some people, I was doing a thing on energy vampires, okay? Some people, they can be beaten down so low that they lose their will to want to live. And my friend, he's what you call Caucasian, but he's not. He's what you call white, but he's not. That's just a construct, right? He's my friend. His wife died in his arms. He had to hold his wife and watch her leave this plane of existence. And that's crushing. I can't imagine. I can't imagine it. He spun out and he ended up living with his dad. Okay. Then he watched his dad die in front of him. I don't want to get emotional because this is my friend, y'all. Okay. But his dad died in front of him. Then his stepbrother took extreme advantage of his emotional state. Spun him out even further. Now, I was in contact with him the whole time. I stayed in contact with him. He would call me up in the middle of the night in a state where I knew that he was either on the verge of committing suicide or even if I had to be at work in the next few hours and he broke my sleep, I would get up and stay up with him and just be on the phone with him because I didn't want him to do anything stupid. I finally got him to come back to work, but by the time he came back to work, alcohol had taken such a huge place in his life that he was almost unable to maintain. Well, he became unable to maintain. And haven't heard from him in a couple of months. I think about him all the time. As a matter of fact, I have his cousin's phone number right here. I need to call him and check on him and see how he's doing. But he and I haven't talked in a couple of months. And I think about him quite often. But I have things going on in my life. Okay, my dad died, my aunt died, you know, my niece was kidnapped and sold into a sex slave ring, and you know, my mom has got Alzheimer's dementia and is on a walker, and you know, I have a challenge with her every day. Some days is good, some days is bad, sometimes it's very bad, you know, but that's my mom. I have family members who your family, but I haven't heard from you and I don't know how long. I don't get any help on this side with mama. I mean, you know, I have my own thing going on, right? So I'm nobody's leader. I'm saying all of that to say that I'm nobody's leader, and I get, you know, come at. You know, I got my own thing going on. I got my own struggles going on. I'm not trying to be out here as anyone's leader. Right now, I have a personal journey that I'm on, and I'm sharing my personal journey that I'm on. And then there are other people who are on this journey as well, and they are following along, you know, with my journey, and they line up with me because they understand we all have these same kind of struggles. But that doesn't mean I'm a leader. That doesn't mean I can snap my fingers like Nathaniel over at whatever his place is, you know, the IUSU ever IPQBWXYZ camp, whatever that is, you know, and put 12,000 brothers on the street in blue and purple, you know, marching like they in the damn army or something. I'm not that guy. Okay. But they're not worried about him because he's a 501c3, you know, anyway, he's on the team. And he got all of them on the team, even if they don't know it. You know, you're part of the clergy response team. You got the CRT the moment you become 501c3. So I'm not in that. I'm not in that space. But I'm going to tell you like this. We don't have a leader like that. But you're looking for our leader. You're trying to see where it is because you want to break up what you call the Black Identity Extremist Group, right? So they sick somebody on me, y'all. Okay, they sick the chick on me. And there's a woman that that I've known, and you hear me talk about her periodically. She and I, we've been good now for like about going on 5-6 years. Okay. And when she first popped up on the scene, I had a series of questions, you know, and so we had to work our way through this thing, you know, because I'm not that easy, you know. I know what happened to Martin. I know what happened to Marcus Garvey. I know how you guys do. I know what you do. So your tactics don't work on me. As soon as a woman popped up, I'm like, wait a minute. See, because I know how I roll. I know what I do, right? If I want some ill nana, I know how to go get it, okay? And it's not that you just pop up, especially coming across the internet. Who are you? What do you want? And why are you here? So when this person popped up, I said, I'm just a regular dude. I went straight down that road. I'm not anyone's leader. I'm not blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, see, at first there was a lot of dialogue. Back and forth, there was all kinds of dialogue, emails, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. See, because if you give me your email and I send you an email, now you have my email. I know you're watching. I give you my phone number. Now I call you. You got my phone number. Now you got my phone number. I know you're watching. But you see, every time we get together and every time we talk, you know, yeah, I might tell you about my personal business, you know, what I'm going through with my mama and the whole nine, you see, because a person who's a leader of a group they're not putting their business out there like that. See, I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide. When we talk, this is what we're going to discuss. Okay? I'm going to be looking at, okay, so how does my life match up to this, and how do I make it work? Because I got an issue going on with my mama. What does the scripture say about how do I handle my mama? What does the scripture say about how do I handle my wild ass niece? What does the scripture say about my relationship between me and my sister? Okay, my dad just died. How do I handle that? Okay, my aunt just died. How do I handle that? See, I throw everything. I throw it all up against the wall. Everything lands up against these scriptures. Even you, when you show up. because you just pop up out of nowhere like, Toast, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Where you come from? And what do you want? Because I know how you do Marcus Garvey. I know how you do Martin Luther King. And yeah, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. I'm going to listen to whatever. I mean, who am I? I have no way of checking your facts. But I'm transparent. I'll tell you everything about me because I have nothing to hide. Because you're looking for something, right? And so for that reason, that's why, you know, when you reach out and touch me, you can reach out and touch me. You know, they kick in my door, all they're going to find is a crazy ass old woman, 80 years old on a walker, you know, who might pick up her cane and come at you. You know, that's what you're going to find. You know, I got a couple little ankle biters in here who are seriously about coming after your ankles. You know, now see, they will shoot your dog. They'll kill your dog. If I had a Rottweiler, they'd take him down immediately. One of my boxers, they'll take him down immediately. They'll even take down one of these little characters because these little characters will fight to protect. That's what they do. And they would machine them both to come up in here and find nothing and get attacked by a crazy old woman. There's nothing here. There's no political leaders here. There's a brother on a personal journey trying to figure out who the hell he is. And now that he's found out, he's just telling everybody, look, here, this is what's going on. So, you know, that's the thing. It's crazy because, you know, they use this stuff on us all the time, right? So, let me see if I can. Oh no, I can't do that, can I? Okay, I thought I could do that, but actually I can, but I can't do it right there. Okay, so you know what? Let me do it like this then. Let me do it like this then. I want to show you the other side of this, so I want you to, you know, sit tight for a second. Let me show you the other side of this, okay? And let's do it like this. I hope it'll play. See if it'll play. Wow, I'm trying to get this thing to go for you. See if we can get it to play. Again, I have no engineers. I'm in here by myself pushing the buttons. So I want this other side to play. Let's see if we can get it to play for you. You know, I did another video and this same thing happened. So let me do this. And let me try something different. Let me try it like this. See if we can make it happen from here. Let me do it a little different way here. Let's do it like this. You know what? It doesn't want to do it that way. Okay. So we're gonna do it old school. I'm gonna take the old way. I'm gonna take the other way around and see if we can get it like this. So just give me a second. We're gonna go at it this way. Let me find it. All right. Let's see if we can make it happen like this. Are you kidding me? Really? It doesn't want to do that. Okay, so it's at 725 in. Okay. Let me see if I'm going to have to try to see if I can bring it to the YouTube page then, because that seems to be the only way I'm going to be able to make it happen. Let's see if we can bring it to the YouTube page, or take it from the YouTube page. Wow, that's major right there. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'm not going to leave you there just staring at this, this crazy screen. But what I'll do is I'll bring it back here. I'm not the most beautiful thing, but at least you can be looking at me while I'm trying to bring it up to the screen. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's do it like this. As again, I'm by myself, so there's no engineers in here working it for me. If I did have it, that person would be sitting over there at the laptop, working it from that side of the room. So I've got quite a few different things in here that I was looking at, but let me do this.
There was a big ram through my.
And that was 7 and some change, 7:23, 7 something. I'm gonna try to advance up to that portion of the video, and let me see. Yeah, okay, I think I'm there now. All right, so this is the video, and it's called Inside the FBI Hunt for Black Identity Extremists, in case you want to look it up. And you can watch the whole thing. I'm only using a couple of excerpts because these are the things that I want to talk about in relation to, this truth that we're in. So let me add this, and that's at 7:20. Let me add this, and then we'll see if we can just go at it from here. I hope it plays. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but we're going to try it. Okay.
Hey, Jason here, and I am sitting inside my Aston Martin DB9. I know, kind of good.
I don't care about your Aston Martin. That's the other thing, is when you add a video this way, it plays commercials, and that's why I was trying to snap that out so that it wouldn't play a commercial on top of it for you. But I'm going to try to get this in here without it playing a commercial for you. And if it does play a commercial, I'm sorry. I apologize. I simply wanted you to watch this one piece. So let's see what happens. Hold on. I'm trying to find this portion. I want to get to that place. That's a commercial. Okay, here we go. Here, no, that's a commercial. We're going to skip past that. I'm going to let that play, and we're going to get past that commercial, and we'll say skip the ad. Okay, so I'm at that place now, and I'm going to let it run from here. Okay, so let me try to stop this. There we go. I'm going to let it run from here because this is the part that I was trying to show you. And let me see if I can get it to back up just a smidge. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But this is what I want you to see, and this is the part that I was trying to show you, the clip I was trying to show you, okay? So here we go.
On August 3, 2017, the FBI created the Black Identity Extremist Assessment using the Dallas 2016 shooting and 5 other unrelated attacks on police as justification that this movement exists.
Black identity extremists now considered a domestic terror threat by the FBI.
According to the FBI assessment, it was very likely that these terrorists would target law enforcement officers in retaliation for perceived police violence against African Americans. Due to the assessment classifying the group as a domestic terror organization, the FBI is able to justify any invasive surveillance tactics used in monitoring these targeted individuals.
Why is there an attack on black activists versus any reports dealing with the alt-right and the white nationalists? Can you answer that question quickly?
I'm not aware.
Planning on investigating that?
When was that report completed?
In August of 2017.
I'm not aware. I have not studied that report.
There's this perception that the government promotes
in monitoring these targeted individuals.
Why is there an attack on black activists versus any reports dealing with the alt-right and the white nationalists?
Invasive surveillance tactics used in monitoring these targeted individuals.
Why is there an attack on black activists versus any reports dealing with the alt-right and the white nationalists? Can you answer that question quickly?
I'm not aware.
Planning on investigating that?
When was that report completed?
In August of 2017.
I'm not aware. I have not studied that report.
There's this perception that the government promotes that we are in a stage of critical emergency because of terrorism. And that's because they get more power. And in order to retain that power, they need to find more terrorists.
One of the most outspoken critics of the Black Identity Extremist Assessment is Michael German, a former FBI agent who did undercover work on white supremacists and right-wing militias in the 90s. He's now a fellow for the Brennan Center for Justice.
What incentive do you believe that the FBI has to make a label like Black Identity Extremist?
A person cannot be targeted for investigation based solely on First Amendment activity. So by creating this Black identity extremism movement, they can use that as the justification to then target any activist or any black person who is protesting police violence. One of my problems with this kind of intelligence report is these are 6 disparate acts of violence that they try to mold into a movement. There was really nothing connecting them except the fact that they killed police officers and the fact that they were black. They don't have shared ideologies.
Right.
They are not associated with one another. They weren't part of the same groups. They weren't even in the same state and city for the most part. There is no such thing as the Black Identity Movement. There's been a stage of critical
there is no such
emergency
thing as
because
a
of
Black
terrorism.
Identity Movement.
And that's because they get more power. And in order to retain that power, they need to find more terrorists.
One of the most outspoken critics of the Black Identity Extremist Assessment is Michael German, a former FBI agent who did undercover work on white supremacists and right-wing militias in the 90s. He's now a fellow for the Brennan Center for Justice.
What incentive do you believe that the FBI has to make a label like Black Identity Extremist?
A person cannot be targeted for investigation based solely on First Amendment activity. So by creating this Black identity extremism movement, they can use that as the justification to then target any activist or any black person who is protesting police violence.
Or any black person who is protesting police violence. Any black person. Okay, remember, this is black, okay? But that's not what they're looking at as their construct. They're pointing that at us. That's how they're trying to make everyone see, right? They don't see you as a copper-colored individual. They see you as black. And so because of that, they're able to use that construct in order to create this kind of scenario, right? You heard what the man said. Now, this is a former FBI agent. This guy's a former agent, okay? That means that before he came to his senses, he was out there in the field doing the same stuff, okay? He was out there doing the same stuff, raiding and running on people until he got a conscious wake-up call. And now, like Mike Adams of Natural News, he is one of the guys that is on our side, putting his life on the line. They'll kill him for trying to protect us. Okay? That's what you need to understand. They will kill him for trying to protect us. Mike Adams came from Natural News. Look it up. Mike Adams said there is an agenda to assassinate and to exterminate black people in this country. And now he has to walk around with a gun on his hip and bodyguards because he told the truth. Okay? So they put themselves on the line. So I want you to understand this is like, we're not in this fight by ourselves. During slavery, there were Caucasoids, Caucasian people, that were putting their lives on the line for the abolition of slavery. Okay? Now, while they were out hanging us, they were, throwing rocks through their windows and raping their daughters and disappearing their sons, calling them in-lovers and the whole nine. Okay? There's people who know what wrong is. Wrong is wrong, right? And so there's people who is on our side. The same way we have to look at those who are on our side, we got to be, and that's how I am. I don't care because I know that that's white. You're not. This is black. I'm not. That's a construct. That's what they use to keep us separated. But once you can see through the veil and you understand what's going on, got an itch in my eye, sorry. Once you can see through the veil and you understand what's going on, you can see past the construct and then do what's right. I guarantee you this guy is putting his life on the line for telling this truth. They don't want former FBI agents running around telling this truth. Okay? Let's listen in.
My problems with this kind of intelligence report is these are 6 disparate acts of violence that they try to mold into a movement. There was really nothing connecting them except the fact that they killed police officers and the fact that they were black. They don't have shared ideologies. They are not associated with one another. They weren't part of the same groups. They weren't even in the same state and city for the most part. There is no such thing as the Black Identity Movement. I've never heard Black Lives Matter activists refer to themselves as a black identity extremist, right? It's sort of a made-up term that is used as an umbrella to cover anyone who is black and an activist, and really anyone who is black and has concerns about police violence or discrimination. They know that if they use this broad label, the police agencies receiving it will know who it applies to, and can make it basically apply to anyone they want.
Why is this extremism being pushed throughout the FBI on these minority groups?
Any government sees protest against its own policies as threatening, right? That's a political threat, but it has an incentive to present that political threat as a security threat to the nation. This is a persistent problem. This is something that's happening now and has pretty much happened all along.
Critics of the Black Identity Extremist label have drawn comparisons to COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO was a series of covert and at times illegal actions carried out by the FBI from 1956 to 1971. It was aimed at surveilling and disrupting domestic political organizations. They targeted the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Black Panther Party.
One day I was in the City of Minneapolis library, and I happened to be studying something on Malcolm X, and I noticed that there was always this man that was behind me. So I just jumped up, and I started going in and out of the library, and he was trying to follow me, but, I was a little too fast for him. One day, the same man came by my apartment where I live and knocked on the door and said, Mr. Crenshaw, I would like to talk to you. And that's when I saw.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. They are and have been watching us for a while. They will continue to watch us. So here's the thing. He's in a library. He's a former Black Panther. He's in a library reading something, and he's being followed. So I'm telling you, I've seen you in the store. I've seen you on the street. But you see, I'm not like these guys. I'm not doing anything. I'm not sitting out in the park with an AR-15, demonstrating my right to open carry. I'm not doing any of those things, right? I'm simply just discovering who I am, and I'm talking about it. Just the mere fact that I'm talking about it, and I've got a YouTube page and a Facebook page that's blowing up on it, that's not my fault. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in this for fame. Okay? There are other people who are on the same journey I'm on, and they just identify with what I'm doing. That doesn't make me a leader. But if that's what you think, and because you're looking for a leader, you're looking for someone that you can point your finger at, and then you can take them down, and then that's the person you're going to hold up to the media and say, "See, we got him." You know, just like you did this brother. That's what you did to him. That's exactly what you did to him. Okay? So, no, not me. I'm trying to find the Sabbath. I'm on the search for the moon. I'm trying to find the days of the week. I'm trying to get my Shabbat straight. You know, I'm doing something completely different, but at the same time, because I'm doing what I'm doing, I see you seeing me. I see you watching me. Right? And no, I didn't push the button for your facial recognition. See, because I have 2 different phones, and one of them had to confirm on it and the other one didn't. So that's where we are today, Mishpachah. That's what's going on, family. And I'm going to continue my study. I really am. I'm going to get on up out of here, and I'm going to take it to the limit one more time. Okay? And that's just where we are. That's just what we do over here, Obara Bani. That's how we get down. We continue to try to find and look for the relevant issues and bring those to you. And as I was studying this morning, I was thinking about, are we really ready? I don't know if you're ready, Mishpachah. Some of you are, some of you aren't. The majority of you aren't. And that's why I chose this particular track when I put it in the background. I don't know if you're ready. Something is about to happen in a way that we've never seen happen before. Something is about to occur in a way in which we've never seen it occur before, and I don't know if you're ready. Hell, I don't even know if I'm ready. I'm trying to stay ready so I don't have to get ready. You know, I got a bug out bag. I've got some provisions. You know, I don't even know if I have enough. I know I have enough for me, but if I got to break wide and that means I got to leave mama, I got to leave mama. You know, I've come to the conclusion, I've come to the place where I cannot protect people who don't want to be protected. I cannot take care of people who don't want to be taken care of. So that's just where I am right now. As long as I'm inside of this house, I'll do everything I can to protect moms, right? But if I got to break wide and get outside them doors, I got my bug out bag and I'm rolling. Because I can tell you, for most of you who know what I'm going through, I've had them come through here and tell me they're not giving me any help. We're not going to get any help. And, you know, it never used to be like that 50 years ago, but where we are today, and I knew this day was coming, they don't care about a senior citizen. They can let a senior citizen die, and they certainly, most definitely, do not give a damn or care about us. Okay? My dad died, and I'm telling you, they are raping his estate right now, my sister's inheritance. And she and I, out of everybody in the family, there's only 2 of us fighting these crooked bastards. And there's enough of us in the family that could bring this fight to a halt, but it's only the 2 babies. See, I'm the baby of she and I have the same father, and my daddy was a hoe. But my mother was married to my father when he was hoeing. So I'm the baby of my family, and she's the baby of hers. And only the 2 babies are fighting this whole fight. Okay? And they are raping my father's estate. These crooked... I want to say something else, but I'm not. I'm not. Okay? So that's just where it sits, family. We don't have a choice but to be individuals and fight for ourselves, because no one else is going to fight for us. I'm going to push off. I'm going to move on and continue my moon study, my search, and my day of the week search, and just continuing my Shabbat. I'll be back later on after I have some lunch. We'll do it all over again, Obara. Peace. Shalom.